going on, guys? Sicklerville. Just wanted to hop on tonight. Just wanted to say I hope everybody's having a good day. Well, I hope you guys did have a good day. It's like 11:15 at night. Um, I just wanted to say this is, the series finale of America. but I wanted to talk about, I wanted to go more into yesterday. But I wanted to take a separate topic and talk about it. And what I wanted to talk about is it's two things, in my opinion, that are just highly, I guess there's too much ignorance on these two topics that involve, or I would like to split it into three. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to go into is when you suffer from a toxic family, or when you suffer from just, yeah, a toxic circle of your family. I just want to say this, and there's going to be people that disagree with this, but I'm going to say this to you right now. You are not bound to be loyal to anybody in your family, parents, siblings, grandparents, it doesn't matter. Cousins, doesn't matter. You're not bound to stay attached or close to anybody that is family to you simply for the fact that they're your family. If they are affecting your mental health, if they are bringing negativity, if they are doing nothing but worsening how you feel emotionally or attempting to bring you down, attempting to dumb down your goals, you are not bound to stick to them. If they are choosing not to hear you out, if they are choosing to say something along the lines of, I'm just a parent and because I told you so, even if you make a good argument and they tell you to watch your mouth, you're not bound to stay close to your family whatsoever. You are a free person and you should feel as though you are a free person. Some parents seem to, some parents seem to put their kids in a box that they put their kids in this box that they don't realize that they're going to grow up with a box brain. And basically a box brain is an enslaved brain, and they're going to feel trapped with the thought of having to stick with their family even though they have pretty much enslaved them in these chains that they have, that they think is love, and that's not love. That's not even a relationship. That's more of a dictatorship. You are a slave to a dictator. And I also want to say that with that topic, when you're free to go wherever after you're done school, college, high school, whatever, you don't owe your parents anything. And honestly, you don't owe anybody in this world anything, regardless of the title that they have, because titles can be erased. Titles can be erased. Anything can be erased except words that are said to other people. Once the words go out to you, or whatever your parents said, the pain they've inflicted onto you doesn't go away. It stays there forever. And I want you to keep that in mind, because if you feel as though your parents or your family members are just constantly bringing you down, hurting you, making you feel numb, I want you to realize that when you grow up, you essentially see that a lot of people in your family are mentally fucked up. Okay? A lot of people in your family are just mentally fucked up. And they're unwilling to see that. But if somebody is crazy, but they try to paint on you that you're the crazy one, that is a highly toxic relationship, and you need to get out of that. It doesn't matter. It truly does not matter if they're your parent. If something's toxic, you have to get rid of it. You have to get rid of it ASAP. It's almost like a disease. It's almost like your siblings or whoever in your family is a disease. You must eradicate a contagious disease. unfortunately, there are a lot of people that are my age. I'm 19. I will be 20 November 28th. There's a lot of people my age, but there's also a lot of young people who are growing up with these box brains that their parents have placed this toxic. They placed their toxic morals and their toxic, outdated beliefs into their children, and they have tried to tell them like this is right, this is wrong. This is the problem with parents, or just this is the problem with adults in general. Parents, just adults in general, fail to realize that things change, and they believe that things are always going to stay the same. And then they go back and say, "Well, back in my day, this, and that." And I'm going to tell you something. Back in the 20th century, most people didn't get a divorce. Women never really got a divorce, honestly. Apparently, they were rare. You can correct me on that or not, but apparently, divorces were very rare. But you have to realize that they were boxed. Women were boxed boxed and enslaved to provide. I guess provide provide the family with whatever, and it was just all. I guess it was just like, I feel like I'm not even doing this right, but I feel like like I'm trying to get somewhere and I can't really get the words out. But I feel as though that women back then just did what the man told them because that was the norm. It wasn't normal for people to have a free mind. It wasn't normal for like everybody, women and children, to have a free mind. There's another thing with children back then is that they were told to be seen and not heard. Now, obviously, that can go with, don't get into it, grown folks' business. It's understandable. I guess there's always something that somebody wants to accomplish when they get older. They want to make dreams a reality. Teachers, adults, people have always tried to tell me, like, this is impossible to do. Only a certain percent of people are going to accomplish this and that, so you might as well stick to this. Realize that when you were little, when you were in pre-K or kindergarten, first grade, teachers asked you what you wanted to do. And you would tell them, I want to do this, this, and that. And it almost seemed like they would encourage you. All the teachers I had, they would encourage me. I would say you start hitting around middle school and high school which is a very difficult time. And I want you to know this is a very difficult time in your life. When you're becoming a teenager, it's a very difficult time. And I want you to correlate that. Now, correlate what you were told as a kid when you wanted to be a football player or an astronaut or an actor or a musician or whatever, a movie star or whatever. You get to middle school and high school, a lot of these teachers, not a lot of these teachers, I'm going to say some, because that seems a little disrespectful. Some of these teachers are very miserable. They're very miserable with their lives. To be fair, they deal with disrespectful kids. They deal with, disrespectful principals, disrespectful bosses who are essentially putting them down, and they are inflicting their misery onto you, and they essentially have probably had themselves dumbed down to, you're only going to be this, you're not going to be that. You can go, when I tell you, you go in high school and you say, I'm going to be a football player, play football, you play on a football team, you work hard, there's all, the typical, that's difficult, you got to work hard, you got to be this, and that, like, fuck. And even parents do that. And I think it's so disappointing for me to see that. And people will believe their parents and they'll be, well, maybe I should just do this because whatever. And it's something that they're not going to be happy doing for their lives. Would freely be able to, I wish people would be able to grab hold of the handle or grab hold of the lid of the box, push themselves out, and go free. I wish people would be able to get out of the fishbowl. And once you're out of the fishbowl and into the ocean, the world is yours. Everything is yours. And so you have to be able to get out of the fishbowl to go into the ocean. The ocean is the ocean is unexplored. Your potential is unexplored. Everything that you love is unexplored. The untapped potential in you, the intelligence that you can grow, the wisdom that you can grow daily is unexplored. Once you free the opinions, once you free yourselves from the opinions of others, even of your parents, and you get away from them if they are toxic, if you get away from your family members, friends that are toxic and putting you down, not supporting your goals, if they're inflicting fear onto you, you have to get away from them. Just point blank, you have to get away from them. And you just have to realize that this is your life. Don't let somebody else's misery or pity on their life or whatever. Don't let that be you. Don't be that adult. And along with the generational cycles of trauma and toxic that have gone through the family bloodline, be the one to break that. And be the one to tell your kid, I broke this, so our family from today on will be something better. And we will grow and prosper into something better. And we will go up. And we are only going to go up. So I just want you to know that you are not bound to the chains of, well, that's my mother, well, that's my dad, or that's my sibling. I can never just not. No. No, if they're not benefiting you, you have to get away from them. And I'm not saying you have to hate them. You just have to love them from a distance. You can still love them, but you just have to love them from a distance. So if you have to cease contact, if you have to decrease the contact with them, you do what you have to do. If they're not open to you being very honest with them, if they're trying to tell you, if they're trying to interrupt you every time you talk, and they're trying to manipulate you to think that you have to be less or you have to be regular, you have to cut them off, honestly. And another topic, the next topic I want to go into is suicide. And I believe I said yesterday that there have been plenty of suicides throughout the coronavirus. And, sorry, one second. All right, hold up. So basically, there's been so much isolation. We've been to ourselves more than perhaps we've ever had to be to ourselves. And it is, this is, this is a very unique year. Highly unique year. And it's something we haven't seen before to this magnitude, to where we are all isolated. And people are isolated within their minds. People are isolated within their hearts, their emotions. It's so sad to see people of any age commit suicide. I think that is just such a tragedy that people can not find the way to free themselves from their mind. It's unfortunate to me that people do not have the outlets available to be able to speak their mind. And maybe at this point, with the lack of jobs, they don't have the funds to provide themselves with therapy or whatever it may be to go and get out. Now, I know I have made a video before that I have said suicide is not selfish. I want you to, that is not saying that it's okay to kill yourself. I'm just saying it's not okay. I'm saying it's not okay to add salt on the wound of a soul that killed themselves. It's not okay. That is not okay at all. It's not okay to tell somebody, well, having suicidal thoughts is selfish or you're just thinking of yourself. I'm going to say this again. You are not bound to do something or to stay somewhere just because other people don't think that you should. Now, like I said, I'm going to say this again. I will say it again. I'll say it over and over. I'm not saying it is okay to kill yourself. I'm strictly saying you are bound by your life. You do what you do with your life. When you have those thoughts, other people don't matter. And that is true. Other people do not matter when you want to kill yourself. When you are thinking of taking your life, you have to wonder, you have to go into, why do I want to do this? And honestly, when people say that, it's normally the people who, to you, that say, well, suicide is selfish. It is the people like that, that's the reason why you want to do it. You're not helping anybody at all. You're going to make somebody feel so much worse with that. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard something negative to me about my mental health or something negative to me about suicide, depression, or psychotic, anything. We're supposed to be living in an era where we are more aware of things. We have more access to gain wisdom and knowledge and better our soul. But every day it's as if I just see more and more negativity and just an increase of ignorance among everybody. And it's egregious. It's egregious to me that we're living in a highly a highly informative era, but the ignorance and the negativity has not ceased at all. And I just want to say that when somebody is thinking of suicide, you cannot tell them, well, suicide is selfish. You cannot tell that person, oh, well, you have it better than others. I'm not others. I'm me. And inside I'm suffering. I'm dealing with a lot. You have to be able to emphasize, I think that's the word, I believe that's the word, just empathy. So you have to have empathy for people. It's better to have empathy than sympathy. If you can find a way to emphasize that you feel a certain level of pain, first of all, you have to talk to the person. You have to ask them questions. Why do you want to kill yourself? What is it about you that you feel as though you need to take yourself out of here? How come? How did this start? Is there a root to something that made you become such and such and you wanted to kill yourself? Is there something that you would like to get off your chest? And if so, I'm here. Now, I want you to know you don't always have to have answers for everybody. Sometimes listening is the best thing you can do for somebody because everybody needs somebody to listen to them, because the fact of the matter is nobody's truly willing to understand other people. Nobody's truly willing to take the time, sit down and listen and be here for somebody who is depressed, who is going through suicidal thoughts or detachment from reality. I believe that if we all took the time to sit down, be quiet, let each other finish each other's sentences, ask more questions to understand if you don't already, to get more of a grip and more of a grasp, to understand what people are going through or what they're trying to translate to you, and then you say, so are you saying this, and that, or, try to keep going with the questions when somebody is suicidal or when they need to open up their thoughts and their mind. Go more in depth to these questions so you together can figure out what to do. And if you want to try to give somebody advice, just don't say, think about somebody else, because it's not about somebody else, it's about them. is ultimately about them. And when you bring other people into it, it's almost as if, well, look, this isn't important because somebody's starving over here, or somebody's sleeping on cardboard on card excuse me, somebody's sleeping on cardboard in a trash can or whatever. You know what I mean? You cannot bring somebody else into it because it's not about that person. You have to, you know, it's okay to say I'm sorry. It is totally fine to tell somebody I'm sorry. If you don't know what to say, it's fine to say I'm sorry you're going through this. It's okay to tell somebody I'm here for you. It's okay to tell somebody that I wish I could say more, but I want to be here for you and I will be here for you. That is how you help somebody. You cannot negate somebody's problems and say, well, think about this, or it could be worse. Well, every day it feels like it's getting worse and worse. And the fact that you're saying that, it just feels like it's going to get even worse because you don't understand, or you're not trying to understand. And honestly, I feel for anybody who is in a predicament or a situation in which they cannot truly get their thoughts out to other people. They cannot be open and honest, and they have to bottle up their emotions. I'm very, very sorry that you had to go through that. I leave my social medias always in the description. Like I said, my Instagram changes a lot, but my Twitter and I just made a Snapchat. So if anything, I would say go on my Snapchat or my Twitter and contact me there. I would love to help you. So please, please do that. And the last topic I want to get into is before I get into that, I just want to say that your life is precious. Your soul, your mind, your heart, everything about you is precious. Nothing is not I would never want you to take your life. Please reach out to somebody. Please reach out to me, as I said. Please talk to somebody. Please try to write your thoughts every day. Wake up, write about your dreams, write about what you think about daily, write about the sky, write about what the clouds, describe what you see. Try to find the beauty in life that you can find in yourself. And I want you to know that I love you. I want you to know that there is somebody here for you. And I want you to know that it will get better. And you can do this. And you can do this if you give yourself a fighting chance. Give yourself a fighting chance by trying to exercise, trying to meditate, trying to write every day, trying to drink more water. Try to cut out junk food. Try, even if it's for 5 minutes, as long as you try, you're going to have a shot. And ultimately, trying is the best thing you can do. You don't have to succeed immediately. Nothing happens overnight. But if you give yourself a chance and you try, then ultimately, you're going to have a chance. And I believe in you, I love you, and I want to see you succeed, and I want to see you live. And I'm so proud of you for all of those who have fought their way to another day and have seen the next one and the next one, have seen next week, next month, next year, next decade. I'm so proud of you. To the ones we have lost to suicide, you will never be forgotten. You are deeply missed, and I hope you are resting in peace. To the next topic I want to go on, I want to go into addiction. And as the years have gone on, my viewpoint on people who use substances, alcohol, drugs, whatever, my view has changed drastically. I've been more able to emphasize with people who are like that. Before I branched out and saw things myself, or detached myself from a casual standpoint or a very ignorant standpoint. I used to think very, very poorly of people who are people who are addicted. Um, I truly did. I'll admit that right now, and I was very wrong for that. I was so wrong for that. Honestly, I was so wrong for that. But as I grew, I got to understand that these are sick people. People choose to do drugs or alcohol, yes. But I don't believe that people, I need to try to find the right words for this. I don't believe anybody just wants to be addicted. I believe people do want to do substances, but I don't believe anybody wants to be addicted in the sense of, yeah, I'm just going to do it just to do it. Um, there is something that people are missing, ultimately, who are using in a large amount of substances, whether it's pills, whether it's cough syrup, alcohol, anything, even weed. Weed. It's funny because that people say they know people who are addicted to weed, and people admit that they're addicted to weed. So, I will say that, even though that's not a damaging one, that's not a damaging drug, uh, as much as shooting up or snorting something or drinking cough syrup, taking pills, drinking alcohol. But we're still gonna use that in there. People ultimately are using drugs to escape something and find what they've missed their entire life, or within a span of however long that they have needed to find this feeling of bliss and this feeling of peace and comfort of which they have not seen or felt in so long. And ultimately, it's the euphoria that you feel as a kid that may have been stripped away from you, or maybe you were stripped away of. You never had this feeling of euphoria. You never had this feeling of freedom. And people feel this freedom within them. They feel this freedom within them that, when they're high, they're flying. They feel like all of the pain and the trauma that they feel in them is gone for however long it lasts for. The high or being drunk, people are taken away from the traumas that they have had to live through their entire life. People are taken away from the daily worries of work, people, families, and ultimately, I believe people my age, teenagers or anything, I believe a lot of people use due to their family. I believe that a toxic family, a very damaging family to you, a very damaging feeling of abandonment, the fear of abandonment, the rejection, or just anything that has poorly affected you, that has brought trauma onto you. I believe those people are looking. They're looking for an outlet. They're looking for somewhere to be safe. And unfortunately, it is, to me, it is unfortunate that people have to go to something like that to find comfort and find peace in. And it breaks my heart, honestly. It truly breaks my heart. And I've seen along the years that people are truly looking for an escape. People are truly looking for just somewhere to go because they can't find it. And I understand that people say, well, we have therapy, we have rehab, you have anybody to talk to. And I just want to say that you really don't always have somebody to talk to. Like I mentioned earlier, right? People will try to take away from your issues and say anything to shine light on other issues and bring more darkness and guilt and rain on your story and on you. And ultimately, there is things that people say like drug addicts are losers, they're worthless, they're stupid, or they're bad people. These are very hurt people. These are very damaged people who I believe don't entirely trust anybody with those emotions and those feelings and the trauma that they have had, mostly because people are the reason that they have this. And I believe that we should be more open-minded to hearing out why are people addicted, and not just judging people saying, oh, he uses perks, or he's a perk head, or he sips lean, or he snorts cocaine and does heroin. I think we should always do our best to understand why are people doing this. We should always do our best to go out of our way to say what's wrong with him, how can I help him, and we need to do more research before we just listen to what other people say, because a lot of people are just influenced by what others say to them without taking the time to do their own research. When you take the time to do your own research, you're doing a favor for yourself and you're doing a favor for the world. You're diminishing ignorance and you're providing yourself with more logic that instead overrides the emotion, but also overrides the silence and just going with the flow of things and being a yes man. And when you do your own research, you will be able to help people way more because you know the what's real and you know what's not, and you're not going to be bound by ignorance as long as you take the time to do the research and see one thing and another and another and another. You're doing something great. You're ultimately going to be a big help to somebody. And I want to say, as a teenager, I've grown and I've seen a lot of drug use. Honestly, I've seen a lot of people smoke weed. I've seen a lot of people sip lean. I've seen a lot of people take pills. I've been around a lot of people who have been drunk. I've been around people who have been high, and honestly, it's just when you sort of look at it and see the large quantities and amounts of the use that people use, and when you see the large, just the feeling of irritation that people have when they're not, when they need something because that's their go-to, it's just you truly realize how somebody is suffering when they're so desperate to get just this feeling of relief and peace. And every human being, every soul on this earth needs basic human, basic human, I guess you would say basic human needs. And I think I'm gonna say one of the things is loneliness, and nobody wants to be lonely. Everybody needs somebody to comfort them. Everybody wants some comfort in everybody. They want to be able to be comfortable with somebody and to know that they're safe and to know that they can truly trust this person. And comfort is the ultimate key and pathway to trust. And when you know somebody very well and you're comfortable with them, you can trust them, that's where connections are formed. That is where true connections are formed. And truly to be able to be comfortable with this person, to understand them, hear them out, and listen to them, and, be honest and open to them, that's when true connections are formed. That's when true change can happen. And I just want to say to people who are addicted, you are not alone in whatever you are suffering from, whether it's something you would like to get out or not. I do encourage you to go get help. I do encourage you to go to rehab. I encourage you to go to therapy. I encourage you to do whatever you can to to take away from the addictions little by little, and to just find a natural high that doesn't rely on alcohol or drugs or whatever. And I just want to say to everybody who is suffering out there, to everybody who is going through something, please know that you are not alone. And I will say this again, please reach out to me. I would love to talk to you guys. I changed my Instagram a lot, but I want you guys to know that I love you and that there is somebody as your friend in me. I would love to be your friend. I would love to talk to you more. I'm doing my best to make more videos. I'm doing my best to get myself back into the flow of things. I'm trying to write more. I'm trying to play basketball more. I'm trying to do martial arts more. I'm trying to lose more weight. I'm trying to get my body right, my mind right. I'm trying to read more. I'm doing what I can to help other people, and I'm doing what I can to spread positivity onto others. And I want you all to know that you are not alone, and that your mind is limitless, your soul is limitless, your heart is limitless. Don't ever think it is bad to be a good person. If you're being a good person and people take that in the wrong way, it wasn't for them. Only a fool would not want to be a good person. Only a fool would deny a good heart for a bad apple. Don't do that. I just want you to know that you can do this. You can do this, and you will be better. I love you guys. Please have a great night. Please be safe. Wear your mask, drink water, wash up every day. And I want you guys to please do your best to read, write, be active, and do something for you. When you wake up, don't lay in bed too long. Don't go on your phone first thing and stay hooked to social media. If you're going to stay on your phone, go and watch something motivational, enlighten yourself in a healthy article to feed your brain and your soul. Please do what you can to better yourself, and please know you are not alone. We will all get through this. We're all going through something, but I want you to know that everyone who is going through something, I'm here. I love you guys. Have a good night. Be safe. Peace out.